Yo, Bishop here. So I've been saying I was going to do this for a while, and it's taken me honestly forever, but yeah, the movement guide, here it is. I've never done this before, so I don't even know if anyone's actually going to see this. Not sure how the algorithm works, but if you do happen to see this and you wanted to learn how to play Spider-Man, you're in the right place. Spider-Man's a hard character to play. Honestly, it's pretty safe to say he's the hardest character in the game. And when I was starting Spider-Man, I was looking everywhere for a guide that went over basic stuff all the way to all the advanced stuff. And I couldn't find anything that went over everything in one place. What I found instead was just so much tech on Spider-Man scattered across a bunch of different platforms. Some of them useful, some of them not. So I kind of put everything I found useful, everything I use in my playstyle into this video. Some of the first things we're going to go over is the basic stuff. So I suggest if you already know all the basic stuff, skip forward. I'm going to leave timestamps in the description that you can use to go to what you want to see. Yeah, in this video we're going to go over the basic stuff, and then we're going to go over some more advanced stuff, and then I'm going to try to explain how to use it in game, like combos, animation cancels, all that stuff. And I hope you enjoy the video, and I'm sorry if I'm bad at explaining stuff, and if my guide did not help you. I hope it does help you, but there are so many Spider-Man guides on YouTube, so if this one doesn't work for you, I suggest you try a different one. And a couple things I gotta say before we get into it. I know this intro is really long, but bear with me for a second here. So the first thing is, if your only goal is to just climb rank as fast as you can, hit GM, hit Eternity, I'd say, and if you're new to Spider-Man, I'd say don't try to learn Spider-Man, don't watch this video. And I'm not saying Spider-Man doesn't work in high elo. I'm saying is there's a lot of other characters, easier characters you can learn. I should say less technical characters you can play to just rank up quickly. But if you like movement, you like finesse, you like winning in style, keep watching. The other thing is, it's going to take time to practice a lot of this, especially some of the later parts of the video where we go over some more advanced stuff. And you're going to have to sit in the range to get it down, get the tech into your muscle memory. So I just wanted to say it's normal to not get stuff in the first 5 minutes of trying it. And the last thing, I promise you it's the last thing, is that, I don't take credit for discovering any movement tech that I'm using in this video. And the only reason I'm saying this is I know the community's been weirdly sensitive about it, but I'm trying to give credit where credit is due in the description. And if you discover something and I fail to mention it, let me know so I can give you credit. But again, I don't even know if anyone's gonna actually see this, so it probably doesn't matter. And yeah, we're done, so let's get into it. So for the first part of the video, we're gonna be going over some pretty basic stuff. So again, if you already know all the basics, I suggest you go to the timestamps to the newer stuff. And the first thing we're going to go over is keybinds, because it's pretty important on Spider-Man.
Watch out, they're headed our way.
And yeah, I'm going to be showing some of the stuff in this area of the practice range. I know a lot of you already know about this area with all the bots, but I found a couple new players that didn't even know this existed. So you come down here, go to this underground area, and it's really open. And the actual good part about this area, or this part of the training range, is you can come here and set bots for whatever character you want. And you can make them strafe if you want to practice your aim. I usually use this because every character has different HPs to see what works. And yeah, I usually turn my timer off right here. And that's it for the settings in this area. The other thing I would do is I would go to practice settings and turn on no ability cooldown when you're practicing all these combos. So for keybinds, what you're going to want to do is hit escape and then go to settings and then press keyboard. It's going to be defaulted for all heroes, so you want to press on Spider-Man, so these settings save only for Spider-Man.
They're headed our way.
Sensitivity and reticle, that's just all personal preference. I use a white reticle. And before we continue, I'm just going to assume everybody knows Spider-Man's basic abilities, or we can just press F1 here to read them. So let's just start from the top. The first one, targeting sensitivity while aloft, that's defaulted to at 100. And that's how precise you want your E ability or your get over here ability to be. 100, I think, auto aims at the closest person. And the lower the number goes, the more precise it gets. I put mine at 50 because sometimes you sticky two people, let's say like a tank in the front and a squishy behind them. And I don't want to use my E on the fat guy. The next one, hold to swing. I turn it on just because you can be more precise with your movement. I think some of the movement later on you can't do with this turned off, so I would just turn it on and get used to it. The next one, automatic swing. This one's important. Yeah, turn this off right now. This makes you auto aim your web swing to anything above you that's closest to you. And the bigger problem is you can't web zip with this on. The next one, hold to wall crawl and hold to run on walls. This is personal preference. Makes you hold keys to stay stuck to the wall. I have mine turned off, but yeah, it's up to you. The biggest thing with these two settings is people complain about getting stuck to walls while they're either b-hopping or flying through the air. The problem with that is you're holding down your jump button, which is why you're sticking to the wall. So I suggest you just don't hold spacebar the entire time while you're flying across the map if you don't want to stick to a wall. And you should be good. Direction of wall crawling, advanced vertically upwards. I keep that on default because I like to use my WASD keys to move on walls. You can change it to advance towards crosshair. Not sure why you would want to do that, but that's also personal preference. Get over here targeting. This is the important one. So this is your E ability by default, where you pull yourself towards an enemy or you pull them towards you. By default, this ability here, ability 1, get over here, is also bounded to E. It's really important you bind this ability and this ability to two different keys. And there's a couple of reasons why. So I'm going to switch it back to the default key, E. And here. So we all know that if you hit your E ability by default without a sticky,
Now I gotcha.
you pull an enemy towards you. And if they have a sticky on them, you pull yourself towards them. So the first reason is sometimes you want to pull an enemy that has a sticky on them already towards you instead of you flying towards them. Let's say this Hawkeye is in the middle of an enemy team. There's 6 people there. You sticky him and you want it to pull him towards you. But if you just press it with default keybinds with a sticky on it, you pull yourself towards him. And that might not be what you wanted to do. With default keybinds, there's no way to pull this guy towards you since they're binded on the same key. So the other reason is timing, so let me explain. With default keybinds, once you land your sticky, you have until this indicator pops up to pull an enemy. Let me show you.
Now I gotcha.
If you press your E before that indicator pops up, you can pull the enemy towards you. But after that indicator pops up, you will fly at that enemy.
Someday.
If you have them bounded on 2 separate keys, let me do that again real quick. I use T because that's what I felt was most comfortable, especially for pulling people off maps. You can bind it to whatever key you want that doesn't overlap. And you can even put it on a mouse button. But yeah, well, if they're bounded on 2 separate keys, if we go back to the first reason, I can pull this enemy that already has a sticky on him. And the other one is I can E immediately without that indicator having to pop up. So next are the movement keys. I have them all on default except for jump. I have a secondary bind to scroll down for jump. So in this game, if you scroll jump, it counts each tick as a separate jump, which is both good and bad. I use a super light, so it might be different on your mouse, but I think this is pretty much in general. What this means is you can't scroll wheel to bunny hop, because you'll be double jumping and you'll be stopping your momentum. However, it's also good because if you didn't know, Spider-Man has a normal attack. If you click 3 times, you get a punch, punch, kick. The kick has a slightly longer range, but if you double jump and punch, you get a slam. If you have your jump bounded to scroll wheel, you can just scroll down and get an instant slam. You can also get 2 slams in a row if you scroll jump in between, if you time it right. I also have a secondary keybind on my primary attack, and I put it on R, and Number one, it's there because R was free, because you're not reloading anything on Spider-Man. And number two, I just felt it was super weird to hold my left click when I'm trying to run up a wall. So that's what I do instead. I press R when I'm trying to do that. I have my melee on F and my uppercut on G, only because I keep spamming F on accident, and I only want to use my uppercut when I want to use it. And I think that's it for keybinds. I have changed hero on O instead of H. That's mainly because when I was practicing Spider-Man combos in the range, I kept hitting H on accident. And this isn't just for Spider-Man, but I would set some sort of keybind for your ultimate status and your need healing at least, in case you aren't 6-stacking all the time and you need to communicate with your randoms. So for this next quick section of the video, I'm gonna do some ability clarification on Spider-Man, and the reason for that is everybody calls Spider-Man's ability something different. Everybody has different keybinds, so for the sake of this video, I'm gonna try to clarify it. So later when we're doing animation cancels and complicated combos, nobody's confused. For this video, we're gonna unite everything in one terminology. So the left click, the normal punch, I'll just call that punch. The double jump in the punch, where you slam, I'll call that slam. On the right click, I call sticky. And the uppercut, mine's on G, but it's defaulted to F. I'll call that uppercut. The ability, mine's on E, where after you sticky someone and you fly towards them, I'll call that E. And the ability where you pull someone towards you, I'll just call that pull. And Spider-Man's shift works in two different ways, and I'll explain. If your crosshair's above the middle half of your screen, you'll perform what's called the web swing. That looks like this. If your crosshair is on the bottom half of your screen, you'll zip to your crosshair, like this. And I'll call that a web zip. And that's it. Oh, and there's the Venom combo. Looks like this. It's your team up ability with Venom, if you have one on your team. It does like 50 damage, and it knocks enemies back. You also take around 45% less damage. I'm not sure about the exact number, but yeah, I'm going to call that C or Symbiote. Okay, let's actually get into some basic tech. So Spider-Man has the most mobility out of any character in the game, which is why a lot of people want to play him. And to move around the map, you use your left shift or your web swing, and you have 3 cooldowns for it. The swing hits where your crosshair is, so it does mean you have to aim since we turned off automatic swing. The first thing we want to know about the swing is that it does matter where you're looking with your crosshair after your swing connects. If you look too close towards where your crosshair connected, or where your web swing connected, you'll get a swing like this. However, if you look far left or far right, depending on which direction you're swinging, you'll get more speed and you'll cover more distance. You don't always want to do this, but for rollouts and getting across the map faster, that's generally what you want to do. The other thing we want to notice is that your shift does have a range. It's not going to attach to something that you're aiming at if it's too far across the map. So you should learn the range. It is pretty generous. I think even if I stand here, it does connect. Let's see. I think it stops connecting around here. Yeah. Another thing is that your position, your character's position, and the angle of your swing does make you move differently. I said earlier that if your crosshair is on the lower half of your screen, you'll do a web zip. That's one example. If we look at this building here, me swinging from this height on this building will give me a different swing than, let's say, if I started my swing from height here. And that's just to get familiar with the swing itself and how it interacts with different areas and different surfaces on the map. The other example I can think of that might be pretty important is if you're pulling someone off a map. If, like on this ledge right here or on this ledge, if the crosshair that you're web swinging on is just barely above the middle of your screen, it'll pull you upwards first and then swing you. So it looks like this, or if we're doing it on this ledge, you get that kind of swing. And one more thing for movement around the map in the basic section, it's really awkward for your character to get onto height more than it should be on Spider-Man, I think. And that's because you can't web zip to anything that's on the upper half of your screen.
Watch out.
If you want to get on this ledge, you can try swinging up there, but it does take a bit of time, pretty awkward. You can also try running up whatever's next to it, but this also does take a bit of time. What I found was the best way is to do this. And how you do that is you double jump, you web swing up there, you let go of web swing, and then you double jump again. And yeah, that's one last thing for moving around the map in the basics category. You can carry your swing momentum with your uppercut. So if you hold your shift too long, you get this kind of like swan dive animation where you backflip towards the end. If you press uppercut anytime before that, while you're swinging, you get a huge burst of momentum. You carry your momentum forward. And that looks like this. And you can cover huge distances. You can cover huge distances on this map. It comes in handy for getting across the map, for rollouts, getting out of spawn quicker. And yeah, you can have fun with this, just flying around the map. Okay, so the next part of this video is basic combos. And the most basic combo we'll start with is the one you've seen in every other Spider-Man video. And it goes like this. It goes sticky, E-Uppercut, sticky, punch.
You'll be all right.
And this does work on targets up to 300 HP. We'll try on this Punisher bot here. And Punisher does have 300 HP, in case you didn't know. This combo is good. Practice it, know how to do it. It's the most basic Spider-Man combo. There's a variation of this where it's a little faster, but it does a little less damage, but it does kill 250 HP targets, and it goes like this. It goes sticky, E-Uppercut, punch, sticky. This one's a little faster, does a little less damage, but it does work against 250 HP targets. However, there's a couple of problems with both combos. First of all, it does take a long time, even if I input as fast as I can. And the other problem is most characters have a get out of jail free card ability. And that's things like Hala's Bird, Scarlet's TP, Star-Lord's Dodge, Psylocke Invis, Hawkeye Shift. And you're also not fighting a stationary bot, you're fighting another person that's not trying to sit there and eat 5-6 of your abilities at once. So most likely in the time that this combo takes, you're not going to be able to land all 5 abilities. So the basic combo that I end up using a lot more often is a variation of this. And instead of ending with sticky punch or punch sticky after your uppercut, you do 2 stickies after. And it looks like this. Sticky, E-Uppercut, sticky, sticky.
And stay down.
And this gives you kill potential if they run. So let's say like this flying bot is an Iron Man. I sticky him, I E in, he starts running, I sticky, sticky, and he's dead. If he doesn't get healed. Yeah. And the other thing that I do want to say about this combo and all combos in general, hitting more stickies does make things easier to kill. It's simple math. Your sticky does around 25 HP. We have a full HP bot and we land 2 stickies and we E-Uppercut. We only need to land 1 more sticky. We hit 3 stickies on them. We only need to go in with E-Uppercut. The other basic combo is when you have a Venom on your team, and you can practice that on the range by coming to this. Press Spider-Man and a Venom will spawn right there for you. This is when you have your C ability or your Symbiote, and that one looks like this. You E-Uppercut, and you press your Symbiote or your C key. This one's a guaranteed kill on a 250 HP target, if they don't get healed again, but yeah. There's a lot of advanced combos later in the video, but this is honestly the best combo for the character, for Spider-Man. Making muscle memory, this one's pretty easy. I call this the no skill combo. However, there are 2 things that you do need to keep in mind for this combo. First one is obvious, you do need a Venom on your team, and the higher elo you go, he is one of the lesser played tanks in the game. And the other thing is your Symbiote ability does have a 30-second cooldown. Sometimes it's a strat where you roll out, you get the point in a second, you kill something, you die, and then you have it up again once you're alive and you roll out back on point and you're back in a second. But if we're just talking about normal gameplay, you have this combo once every 30 seconds, and if this is the only thing that you feel confident in doing to one-shot someone or kill anything, you're pretty much going to be useless for 30 seconds at a time. A couple basic tips I want to talk about before we move on to the advanced stuff. This is obvious, but I think I do need to say it. These HP combos work to quote-unquote one-shot if the person you're going for does not get healed. And we all know that healing is super broken in this game. And again, most characters do have a get-out-of-jail-free card ability. So it's important to learn these basic combos, look for the one-shot, but you should always be looking for a way out after you engage. The other thing I've noticed is a lot of newer Spider-Man players crutch their E ability like super hard. Your E is your best ability, but it does have an 8-second cooldown. You don't have to feel like you're useless without your E. Like, I see a lot of players use their E, and then they get out somehow, and then they're stuck on a wall somewhere in the middle of nowhere, or they're hiding, full health, just waiting for their E ability. Also, you don't have to feel like you have to start every fight with Sticky E. Your E is free chase. You should sometimes bait an escape ability and then follow in with your E. But we'll go over that in the later part of the video. The final thing I want to say for this section is a good Spider-Man is limit testing his character 100% of the time. Your job isn't the main damage. Your kit's not designed for consistent high damage. You don't have infinite ammo and all your abilities go on cooldown. You're more about taking aggro off your front line. You're about harassing the healers. You're about flanking, finishing kills, making space. Your job is to be generally like annoying to the other team. The more you play Spider-Man, you'll see how much you can get away with, and also how important it is to get out after you do your thing, because you're so squishy as Spider-Man. You have 250 HP, and you have no ability besides your ult that gives you any additional HP or shield. Honestly, most of the time, you'll be looking for a sticky E-in uppercut, and then you run. If I had to put a number on it, I'd say like 50% of the time. But the other 50%, I'd say when someone's low, you caught someone on a flank, you're spawn camping someone to stagger them, someone is isolated upstairs, like whatever the case is, that is what the advanced section of this video is about. And that's what makes a good Spider-Man good and a bad Spider-Man bad. So the first advanced tech is called looking away when you use your E. And I do this, it's part of my muscle memory now, depending on who I'm flying towards. This is mainly for fighting someone that can one-shot you. The most obvious case would be against Hela and Hawkeye. And the reason this is important is, I'm sure a lot of you've seen on TikTok where this game's in third person, so let me switch to Hawkeye, and you can aim a bit towards the right of the character with your crosshair, and it still hits for some reason because of the camera angle or whatever. And for Spider-Man, what that means is if you are just flying in with the sticky E looking straight at a Hawkeye or a Hela, all they have to do is they just have to aim generally in this direction, and they will kill you. You will get one-shotted. And this is a way to somewhat avoid that. Doesn't work 100% of the time, but it greatly does increase your odds. What this means is you sticky, and instead of E-ing looking directly at the target, you're able to turn your camera, and you want to turn your camera backwards, so your head hitbox is not as visible. Again, I'll show you. Sticky, E backwards. So why this is important in an actual game? First of all, again, as I said before, it does greatly increase your odds of surviving when you're going into Hela or a Hawkeye. The other thing is, once you land your E, you're going to be right in front of them. And even if you're turned around, again, as we said, uppercut is AoE, you can look the other way and uppercut, and it will still hit the target behind you.
Sure, those are bad guys.
And what that looks like in game is you sticky, E backwards, uppercut, and you get out. If you do happen to have a Venom on your team, you can do the same thing. Sticky, E, uppercut, symbiote, and then get out. So the next thing we'll talk about is the Venom symbiote team up ability, your C, which is a really good ability if you know how to use it properly. We already went over how the Sticky E uppercut C will one-shot a 250 HP target. This bot's already at 250 HP, so Sticky E uppercut symbiote, and they're dead. But I wanted to explain what the C ability actually does. So the C ability sends spikes out of your body, and it does damage while pushing people back. So this Luna Snow will bounce out like that once I press my C. Once you cast your C, it lasts for a couple of seconds before it's gone,
Watch out, they're headed our way.
or you could cast it and then press it again to cancel it early. You can also move around while using your Symbiote ability, and you can jump around while you're doing this as well. So let's go over some couple use cases on this ability. Maybe in some way you used a Sticky E-Uppercut Symbiote combo on a 250 HP target and they live 1 HP. They gotta take a healing, or something happened. Or you're fighting a Luna Snow, 275 HP, and you only do 250 HP with this combo. What you can do is you can kind of keep them in the air and you continue doing damage to them. You can follow them around and still do damage. So the best way to use this is when you pin them against the corner of a wall in a room. But as you see in this clip, you can also kind of just chase them around and kill them. The other thing I like to do with this ability is if the person you just killed is standing next to more enemies, you can hold your C a little longer to keep pushing enemies away and continue doing damage. Whether that's like try to get them off the point or to isolate a healer. You do take 45% less damage, but you're not invincible. So you do have to kind of figure out how long you can get away with this without just getting melted. So the next two things we're going to go over are called the Symbiote Zip and the C Shift Animation Cancel. One problem with your Symbiote ability is that once you hit your C, let's say after you E-Uppercut and C them, hopefully you kill your target, but you're still in this general area, probably closer to a lot of enemies than to your teammates. And you can try using your WASD keys to kind of like get out of there, but you're again still in this general area. It takes you a while to get out. That's where the Symbiote Zip ability comes in. This looks really flashy, but it's really easy to do. What you want to do is you want to go in the same way as normal. You Sticky E-Uppercut, but instead of pressing C immediately, right after you uppercut, you want to press Shift to get out and then proc your C right after you shift. And I'm not sure why this works, but it still does damage to the target you uppercutted. And this one looks like this. So that bot died to the C damage that procced somewhere around here. And again, what I would recommend for this one is actually do the turnaround, look away while you E, so you are actually looking the direction you want to go. And it still works. So the next thing we're going to talk about is the C Shift Animation Cancel. We already talked about how you can cast your C and then cancel it with C again, but you can also animation cancel your symbiote with your web zip. And another thing that's important is your C does damage the moment it's pressed. There's no delay. It instantly does damage. So if you want to one-shot someone with the E uppercut symbiote, but you want to get out instantly, you can also do something like E uppercut and B-hop out of there. Like that. A note I wanted to put for this section is playing Spider-Man with the Venom on your team is super helpful. And not just for the symbiote ability, but if you have a Venom on your team, the Venom will dive the backline with you, which lets you finish off enemies faster. That's how they're supposed to play. However, what I wanted to say is, it's also important to know how to play Spider-Man without a Venom crutch, which is where all the advanced tech comes in. We're going to go over bunny hopping next. Animation canceling is a huge part of playing Spider-Man, and the animation cancel we're using for this is animation canceling your shift with your sticky. You can cancel your web swing. Again, web swing is when it's above half your screen anytime, since we should have hold to swing on. However, if you web zip when your crosshair is at the bottom half of your screen, you can't cancel it if it attaches to something. You can cancel your web zip with your sticky though. I can stand here and press shift sticky and I won't move. You can also do this while you're moving around or jumping. And this is the basic of B-hopping or bunny hopping. There's 3 different types of bunny hopping for Spider-Man right now, and we'll go through all of them. The first bunny hop we're going to go over is called the double jump B-hop. This one should be the easiest and what you should practice first. The inputs are space base, or you just scroll down, you shift, cancel that with your sticky, and then you press space. And it should look like this. And as you see, if you get a good B-hop, you can get 3 or 4 good momentum jumps after. How you want to do this is you want to hit your space as your feet touch the ground. If you press space too early, you'll do a double jump flip animation, which kind of stops your momentum. How I would practice this is I would practice double jumping back and forth to get the timing down. Kind of like that. Oh, and you can't use your scroll down to continue your B-hop in this game. I said this before, but just in case anybody skipped it. Your scroll, again, 1 tick counts as 1 jump. So if you try to use your scroll wheel to B-hop, you'll just end up double jumping and just stopping in place. So the next bunny hop we're going to go through is called the single jump bunny hop. It's basically the same thing as a double jump bunny hop, but you're doing it out of a single jump. So the inputs are just space, shift, sticky, space. And the reason I added this as a separate thing is because the timing is different, and I know it might be a little more difficult for some people. So if you do it right, it looks like this. You'll notice that you don't get as much momentum as a double jump bunny hop, but the way you use this is different. Sometimes you don't have time to double jump, whether you're running from enemies or you're chasing them. I use this more as a fast gap closer. For example, let's say like an enemy's running, he's low health. If he passes this corner, there's a health pack or there's a healer waiting for him. But you want to kill him as fast as possible. You want a single bunny hop to get over there, maybe hit him with an uppercut, and kill him before he gets a mega or something. Another thing about both single and double jump B-hops is I would practice the timing of aiming your shift closer and further. Knowing both is important, and the timing is different depending on where you aim your shift. So the last B-hop we're going to go over is called the Standstill B-hop. It looks like this. This one I call a Standstill B-hop because you can do it out of a standstill, but you can also do this while you're moving. But the important thing is that you can do it out of a standstill. For example, let's say you get slept, you get frozen, you get exiled, but you survive somehow, and you need to get out of there, but you can't swing on anything. That's when you use this. This one's a little bit harder to get the timing down, but it's also super useful, so you should learn this one as well. This one, you can aim closer to your feet if you wanted to, but you go further and faster if your crosshair is just below the middle of your screen. Like anywhere in this range is fine. The input order is you shift and you press sticky space at the same time. Make sure you don't press the second part too early. You want to hit it just after your feet hit the ground and before your character falls in the dive animation of the web zip. So it looks like, and you can still carry your momentum out of it. So the next thing we're going to go over is called a drive-by. And what that means is you can add an uppercut to the end of your B-hop to get a huge momentum boost. You can use it to move across the map. You can use it for a rollout. You can get out of a bad situation with it. But I use it the most for what I call a drive-by. The inputs are literally just what I said. You B-hop and then you add an uppercut with it. And you can do this with any B-hop. You can do it with the double B-hop. You can do it with the single B-hop. And you can also do it with the standstill B-hop. So let's go over what I mean now by a drive-by. What I mean by that is you can do something like this. And there's a couple ways to use this. First one is you want to kill a low HP enemy on the other side of the map, like they're super far. Or you can do this into a bunch of people. Since your uppercut is AoE, remember, you can do this in the middle of a full team, and you can knock all of them up and get huge numbers on your ult charge. You can do this with all 3 B-hops. It's all conditional and mainly based off the distance between you and the target. If the target's that far away, I would probably want a double jump B-hop.
You'll be all right.
If the target's a bit closer, I might want a single jump B-hop. You can also do the Standstill B-hop, and that range would look something like this. There is a variation to this where you don't have to use a sticky from the Standstill B-hop. The inputs are you web zip, then you press uppercut, and then space immediately after to go the furthest and the fastest. You don't want to press it at the same time. It looks like this. So shift, uppercut, space. You don't get as much distance as with the Standstill B-hop plus the uppercut. So you don't get as much distance, but it's good when you don't want to waste a sticky for your movement, or let's say you only have one left and you want to use it to kill someone. That's when this is good for. So you want to practice this drive-by uppercutting people, and like I said earlier before, this is the way to fight without having to crutch on your E. You do a lot of damage, and you get a bunch of ult charge out of it as well. What you want to practice though is you want to practice either landing a sticky before you go in, kind of like that. I missed, but you want to either land a sticky before you go in or as you're B-hopping in, like this. Yeah. Or you can try landing a sticky while you're B-hopping. However, it does kill a little bit of momentum, so I like landing a sticky and then B-hopping through. Yeah, see how that killed a little bit of momentum? But yeah, just practice this. And also, if you mess up your B-hop, like you don't get the best B-hop, you can always B-hop out of it like that. So it's a pretty safe playstyle. But yeah, just get used to doing this. And that's how you do the drive-bys. The other way I use this uppercut momentum carry is to pull people off the map, and we'll go over that next. So we're going to go over pulling people off the map next. There's 3 different ways to pull people off the map, and I'll go over them in increasing difficulty. But before we go over how to pull people off the map, I want you to remember that when you are looking for a pull off the map, it's important to remember who you're pulling and their cooldowns. And what I mean by that is you want to first look for people with no upwards mobility. People like Groot, or let's say you hear the enemy Mantis ulting and she's near the edge and you can look for a pull. Remember, you can pull Mantis out of her ult, but you can't pull Luna Snow out of her ult. She can't be CC'd. If you land your pull off the map on some of these characters that have no upwards mobility, then it's a guaranteed kill. There's no way for them to climb back up. However, you can also look for other people with upward movement abilities if you get a call out or you see it happen. For example, you hear your teammates go, "Oh, Venom no swing." They go, "Namor no bubble, Psylocke no dash." For those people, then you can also look for a pull as well. The first way and the easiest way you can do this is you just sit on the other side of a hole in the floor and you just grab someone. I'm not going to go over this since it's pretty easy and you probably shouldn't be doing this anyways.
Spider sling.
The second way to pull someone off the map is to literally jump off the map, pull someone, and then swing back up. You can either single or double jump, hit your pull, and then swing back up. That would look something like this.
Crack the whip.
If you wanted to double jump, you could do this.
Spider sling.
Same thing. The timing is pretty important, since if you cancel your pull with your swing too early, you don't pull them all the way to where you are. Like,
now I gotcha.
it didn't pull the guy because I pressed my shift too early.
Headed our way. Now I gotcha. Hey, sorry, team.
The last way, the flashiest way, my favorite way, is to hit your B-hop uppercut off the map. And as you're flying off the map, you pull someone with you, and then you swing back. With this one, you can pull people so far off the map since your pull range starts at the moment your uppercut animation ends, while your uppercut is sending your body flying off the map. What I mean by that is here is where your pull animation or your pull range starts. So if you do it right, it looks something like this. Give me a second to get these bots out of the way because I need to time it right so I don't hit any of them. So yeah, like this. And you swing back. You can also hit a long pull while you're swinging off the map, but I found this one to be pretty unreliable, especially when I tell the pull range by eye. It's probably a skill issue by me, but if anyone hits a consistent swing pull off the map,
Watch out there.
let me know. I'd be happy to learn. The next thing I wanted to talk about is canceling people's abilities or ult with your pull. I was planning on making a secondary video with Spider-Man interactions with each hero and rollouts for each map, but I'll take a second to talk about this real quick. Also, please let me know if you'd be interested in that kind of video for the future. But yeah, Spider-Man's pull ability can cancel certain abilities and ults, similar to Penny's right click. The ones I'll go over just real quick are you can pull Strange while he's TPing to cancel it. And for this one, it's usually always worth to do this, since the enemy team is usually standing in front of their spawn, waiting for the TP. I usually end up making it out alive. You just B-hop out or you swing out. But even if you do die, you get back to point a lot quicker anyways. And it's better than your entire team just getting wiped because they're TP. The other one I'll talk about real quick is Scarlet's ult. While she's yelling, she's pretty stationary and you can just pull her to completely cancel her ult. Welcome to the advanced guide. We're going to get into some complicated stuff. Animation cancels. Spider-Man's kit is based off of movement and animation cancels. Since you're so squishy, you have to do the most amount of damage in the least amount of time and get out. Find a health pack, get healed, whatever. This is where the animation cancels come into play. Spider-Man has a lot of animation cancels, so before we go into the combos, let's make sure you can do all of them. And a lot of the stuff is about timing, so it's not necessarily all about mashing the buttons in the order as fast as you can. The first animation cancel we're going to go over is called Shift-Sticky. We already went over this in the B-hopping section already, but in case anyone missed it, jump into timestamps, here it is again. You can animation cancel your shift with your sticky, and you can do this completely standing still, you can do this while you're moving, or you can do it midair. The next animation cancel we're going to go over is called Punch Sticky. There's two parts to this. The first one's not really an animation cancel, but it's focused more on timing. You can instantly sticky right after you punch, and that goes for your normal punch as well as your slam. You can practice this on a bot, stand close to it, and press Punch Sticky. Should sound like that. You can also slam sticky. This one is an animation cancel. On a normal slam, Spider-Man does the splits and then takes a second to hit the ground. If you do the slam sticky animation cancel properly, it should sound like this, and your character should instantly be on the ground. And again, it's like... The next animation cancel we're going to go over is called E-Shift. So if you land your sticky on an enemy and you press E, you automatically do this backflip animation. And there's two ways to cancel this, and one way we already know, it's the sticky E-Uppercut. But there is another way to cancel this animation. What you do is, the input is you press shift right after you hear the E damage noise. And you look above half your screen, and you press shift. Your shift doesn't have to connect to anything, but if you do this properly, it should look like this. And your character should animation cancel that backflip animation from the E, and he should have his feet instantly on the ground. The reason we have to look above half our screen is if we look anywhere below, it will trigger a web zip instead of the animation cancel. One more thing is if your shift doesn't connect to anything, it won't use a cooldown. The next animation cancel we're going to go over is called Slam Uppercut. This one's super important, not just for combos, but just in general when you're fighting someone with a lot of HP. How this works is once the slam animation hits your target, you can instantly cancel that with your uppercut. This is doing it normally. This is with, I guess, medium speed animation cancel. And this is doing it a little faster. There's two ways to see if you're doing this properly. Let me make all these bots one real quick. The first way is by damage. So go to a bot that's full health, do your slam and your uppercut, and his health bar is to the end of the K. And you come to this bot and see if you can do the same damage. The other way you figure out if you're doing this properly is the audio. So I'll raise the audio for just this part real quick.
Pretty sure those are bad guys.
If you do the slam uppercut animation cancel properly, it should sound like this. You should hear 2 hit reg noises. The next animation cancel we'll be going over is called Uppercut Shift. This is one I don't see a lot of people using, and I feel like it's really helpful. So how this works is as soon as the start of your uppercut animation starts, you can immediately cancel this with your shift, and it will still do the damage. It would look like this. And you can practice this if it's working. You stand behind a bot, next to a bot, since your uppercut is AoE, and go again.
You'll be all right someday.
The uppercut animation
They're headed our way.
barely played, but then we instantly canceled it with shift, and it still did the same damage. Also, this animation cancel does not use a shift cooldown if your shift doesn't connect. The next 2 animation cancels we're going to be learning are called Plinks. So Plink is a movement tech from content creator Fame. And what it means is it's a way to animation cancel your double jump so you can slam closer to the ground and you can slam faster. So let me explain. Your sticky punch does that much damage. Your sticky slam does that much damage. It's a noticeable amount more. However, you don't always have time to stand in front of someone and double jump slam after you sticky them. We'll go over the short plink first, and what that is you're using your shift jump to get an instant slam without having to double jump. And that looks like this. There's a couple conditions to the short plink. Your shift has to connect to something on the upper half of your screen. It actually has to connect. Usually it's a wall or a ceiling or even sometimes like a pillar. But once your shift connects, you press space and then you press punch. And your punch should come out as a slam. You can change the order of your shift and your space, it doesn't matter. You can press shift space punch or space shift slam. Doesn't matter, whatever is easier for you and whatever is more consistent. And you can do this infinitely against a wall, and you can do it repeatedly after an uppercut. The short plink will take 1 use of your shift cooldown though. So following up the short plink, we're going to go over the long plink. And this is pretty much the same thing as the short plink, except we're throwing in a sticky after the space shift or the shift space. And what that does is it eliminates the conditions of the short plink. We don't have to look above half our screen, and our shift doesn't have to connect to anything. So there's 2 ways to do this. You can shift, space, sticky, and then punch, or use space, shift, sticky, and then punch. And what that looks like is, so again, I'm going to start with shift, space, sticky, punch. And the other one, space, shift, sticky, punch. And notice how the punch at the end comes out as a slam. For the long plink though, I would recommend learning both ways to do it, since to do a long plink straight out of a B-hop, you do have to know how to start with the space instead of the shift. And the long plink, if done properly, will not use a shift cooldown. The last animation cancel we're going to go over is called E-Uppercut, and this is going to be the hardest animation cancel in the entire video. And for this one, you're either going to get it or you're not, and even if you do get it, it's going to take you a while to get down consistently. And I already know I'm going to suck at teaching this one, because what you have to do is you have to input your E and your uppercut simultaneously within a small frame window. I don't know why this works, but you can kind of compare it to hitting a super glide on Apex. But let me explain what this actually does. So a normal sticky E uppercut takes that amount of time and does that amount of damage. What this animation cancel does is it completely animation cancels the E animation, where you're flying towards your target. So what that looks like is, and it does the same amount of damage. The audio is kind of important for this one, so 1 second. Let me turn the audio up real quick. So a normal sticky E uppercut sounds like that, with the animation cancel sounds like this. A couple things about the E uppercut animation cancel. The first thing is, to land the damage from both the E and the uppercut onto your target, you have to start this animation cancel within 4 meters of your target. So if you start within 4 meters of your target, both the E damage and the uppercut damage is applied to the target. However, if you start at 5 meters and you do the same animation cancel, only the E damage is applied to the target, because the uppercut didn't hit the target. Okay, then you might say, this animation cancel seems really hard, seems like it's going to take a lot of time to learn, and it only works within 4 meters. Is this even worth learning? And there's 2 answers to that question, and they're both yes. The first answer to that question is yes, it's worth learning, because it does lead to one of the fastest 250 HP one-shot kill combos for Spider-Man. And we'll get to that later in this video. The other reason is there is a use case for this, and I'll try to explain that right now. Let's say I was fighting this Galactabot. It's 1 HP. I try to finish it off with a sticky, and they used an escape ability, or they dodged, and it hit the person behind them. I can proc my E uppercut animation from further away. And if I get within that range, say we're outside 4 meters, but within the range to uppercut this bot, I can E uppercut and kill the bot that was next to me. Let me explain how that works. So I sticky this bot, and I'm proccing the E uppercut from outside of the 4 meter range. So this bot is not getting hit by both the E and the uppercut. Instead, since I sticky this bot and I'm proccing the E uppercut from here, this bot is getting hit by the uppercut. The other reason why this is also good is if I press it here, this sticky that I landed on the further target is not consumed. So again, so this is very specific, but it does have its uses. I highly suggest learning all the animation cancels before you move on to the next part of the video, because we'll be needing all of them for the combos. So now we're at the advanced combo section, and to start with, we're going to start with the combos that use E. All of these combos start with sticky E. You just landing your sticky E is guaranteed to do 87 damage. These combos are meant for you to finish targets as fast as possible with the remaining HP. Another note is, depending on who you're flying towards and what combo you're using, I would practice throwing in the turning away while Eing at the target. And the other thing I wanted to mention before we go into the actual combos is, I see a lot of people being super predictable with their E. And what I mean by that I'll explain in the range. But the video that I'm showing you right now are some pretty simple ways to be unpredictable with your E. What I mean by being predictable with your E is this. Let's say the bot on the left over there is a Hawkeye on the enemy team. And let's say you threw 4 stickies on him and you hit the last one. And then that Hawkeye sees you B-hopping straight at him, or he sees you swinging straight for him. That Hawkeye is going to know you as Spider-Man, you're going to try to E him. Even with turning your head, you might still get one-shotted. So you might just die on the way in, or he could just parry you and reposition, and you just lost an 8-second cooldown for nothing. So your E range is actually pretty long. It's like 22 meters. Let's see. Yeah, I can still E from here. Yeah, it ends around here. That's a pretty long range. So what I'm saying is, don't get in the habit of making eye contact with the person you're gonna E into. Don't let them know I am going to fly into your face. Do it from an angle. Do it while you're moving. Do it while you're B-hopping, while you're swinging. Anything other than looking at them, shooting with a sticky, and E-ing them directly in the face as soon as you land a sticky. So the very first combo we're going to go over in this section is called the short Plink combo in the combos that use E. This is technically the fastest way to kill a 250 HP target without Symbiote. This pairs the short Plink that we learned before with the Slam Uppercut animation cancel. So here are the inputs. I'll go through them slowly. You land your sticky, you E into your target. You look above half your screen and you press shift. So your shift connects to a wall or something. Then you space, then you press space. And then you slam, and then you animation cancel that slam with an uppercut. Again, one more time. Sticky, E, look above half your screen, shift space, slam, uppercut. If I do this at actual speed, it should look like this. And you do one shot 250 HP targets. Another thing about this combo is you can look away from your target to proc the short Plink because you need something above half your screen to proc the short Plink. So let's say there's nothing here and there's just a wall behind me and my target is here. I could look behind at the wall behind me and still proc the short Plink to one-shot the Hawkeye. Even though this is the fastest way to one-shot a 250 HP target without Symbiote, it still does take a bit of time, and the condition of the short Plink needing something above half your screen for your shift to connect to means you can't always do this every time you go in. So being a good Spider-Man means you have to pick and choose when you use each combo by the situation, or you'll just die trying to land every combo anytime you pull yourself in an E. Another thing is that whenever you're using your shift to animation cancel, whether it's for a Plink or a B-hop or an uppercut animation or whatever, make sure to keep track of how many you have of your shift cooldowns. Spider-Man's a squishy, he's not a bruiser, so you need to get in and out. The shift cooldown does take around 5-6 seconds, so if you use all of it going in or you use all of them to kill one person, you probably won't be able to make it out alive. The next advanced combo that starts with E we're going to go over is called the Punch Sticky Uppercut combo. This one uses the Punch Sticky animation cancel and the E Shift animation cancel, both of which we went over earlier, and if you're not sure what those are, I would go back in the timestamps and watch those parts again. But real quick, just as a refresher, it's where you point your crosshair above half your screen and press shift to animation cancel the E so your character can punch sticky. So the inputs from the beginning are sticky, E, you look above half your screen, you press shift, you punch, sticky, and then you uppercut. Again, let's just go through that one more time. It's a lot. So you sticky, E, you shift above half your screen to put yourself on the ground, you punch, sticky, and then you uppercut. And this combo, when done at actual speed, looks something like this. So this combo will kill anyone with 300 HP or less. One thing about this combo is that it's important for the punch after the shift to land. So what I do for this combo is I hold my W key and ram my character into my target. I use this combo usually against people with not too much mobility, like Mantis, a low HP Groot, Widow, and Bucky. But make sure you know what cooldowns they have, and you might just get CC'd or die. The next combo we'll be going over is called the Long Plink combo. This one also kills 300 HP targets, but it does take a bit longer than the Short Plink combo. And again, you're using the Long Plink to get an instant slam after you Sticky E. If you're not sure what the Long Plink is, you can go back to the thumbnail to see what that animation cancel is. And the input order, you can do it in two different ways. The input order just goes Sticky, E, Shift, Space, Sticky, Slam, Uppercut. The other way to do it is you switch the order of your space and your shift, and that would look like Sticky, E, Space, Shift, Sticky, Slam, Uppercut. For this combo, I usually stick to pressing shift first instead of space, since I found that to be more consistent. You can do it starting with space, shift, but that is going to take more practice. When done properly, this combo, the Long Plink combo, looks like this. In this combo, I would only use in an isolated 1v1 situation. If it's more than a 1v1, you're most likely going to die. So for this Long Plink combo, it's probably going to take most of you a bit of time to practice. There's a couple things I want to say about this combo. The first one is you have to land both stickies to be able to one-shot a 300 HP target. Otherwise, I think you do a little bit shy of that, 290 or 295, but it's crucial that you land the sticky from the Long Plink. So if we look at the combo, sticky, E, shift, space, sticky, that one has to hit. And then if you finish that with your slam uppercut animation cancel, that should finish a 300 HP target. The next advanced combo we're going to go over is called the uppercut shift cancel combo. For this combo, I'm going to assume that you know how to do the uppercut shift animation cancel. I went over in the previous part of the video. That should look like this. And again, this is another 300 HP combo, and this is a variant of the very first combo we went over in the video, where we look for a sticky punch after we sticky E uppercut. This is also somewhat of a Long Plink, and we get the added bonus of an instant slam out of our sticky. And for me to explain this, let me go over the inputs first. So what you do is you start with a sticky E, pull yourself towards the enemy, and then you uppercut. What you do after the uppercut is you do the uppercut shift animation cancel. So after you uppercut, you press shift, and then you cancel your shift with the sticky, and then your punch, you should press punch, and that should come out as a slam. The uppercut counts as the jump for the Long Plink in this case, and this combo does not use a shift cooldown. If we do the uppercut shift cancel combo properly, it should look like this. And you can do this with the turnaround as well. And the other thing is you don't have to end with the slam. Let's say, the slam works for 300 HP as you saw. But if they're lower HP or they use an escape ability, you can finish this combo with 2 stickies or 1 sticky or however much HP they have left. If you don't happen to learn any other combo in this part of the video, that's okay, but I would at least learn this one. And the reason being is with Spider-Man, when you're first fighting an enemy, you're testing how much you can get away with. And a lot of the time, you're doing that with just going in with sticky E uppercut. And knowing this combo, this uppercut shift animation cancel combo, lets you either instantly get out after you sticky E uppercut, or animation cancel your uppercut with sticky E and then get out, or if you're healthy enough, go in for that slam or that additional sticky and see if you can secure a pick early. The last advanced combo for the section that uses E we're going to go over is called the E uppercut combo. And we're going to assume that you know how to do the E uppercut animation cancel from the previous section in the video. That looks like this. And if we're further out than 4 meters, it looks like this. And there's a bug that we have to use to do this combo that lets Spider-Man throw in a punch before you E if you time it properly. And the reason I say it's a bug, let me explain real quick. Normally on Spider-Man, if you sticky and you punch, that punch will consume the sticky and it will let your punch do a little more damage. If I wanted to E this target, I would have to sticky it again for me to fly at it. What this bug is if you time your inputs properly, you can land your punch but still be able to pull yourself towards the enemy. And what that looks like is like that. So I know it seems a bit complicated, but let's go over it slowly. So the inputs first. What the input is you land your sticky, you double jump on top of your target, you hit your slam, and you instantly press your E uppercut. So the inputs are, again, sticky, double jump, slam, E uppercut. However, it's not that simple because the timing is really hard for this one. This combo does one-shot a 250 HP target, but the only condition is you have to start your E uppercut within 4 meters of the target, which you'll be at anyways if you're landing your sticky slam. And if done properly, this combo should look like this. One shots 250 HP targets. And again. So this is what happens when you E uppercut animation cancel too quickly. You have to wait for the slam to hit. You'll hear an audio. Again, that was too early. Let me show you when it's late. If we do it properly, we want to E uppercut just after we hear the audio of the slam. We can also do this combo straight out of a B-hop and out of a long Plink. So we went over all the combos that use E. Now we're going to move on to the combos that use pull. And I mean, at this part of the video, I feel like you should know this already, but E is where you fly at them. Pull is where you pull them towards you. The first thing that we need to know is the pull has a slightly lesser range than your E. So if you sticky someone, you can E them from all the way up to here, but if you throw your pull here, it will not hit. Pull works at exactly around 20 meters. I think that thing right there should work. If you go even a little further back, it doesn't hit. Spider-Man's pull is super useful in other ways besides canceling enemy abilities. Similar to Buggy's grab, where you pull an enemy and you uppercut them towards your team. Spider-Man's pull, you can use it to pull an enemy out of position into the middle of your team as well. Spider-Man's pull is good for another reason, and if you've played even a little bit of Spider-Man, you've probably noticed this happening. Let's say I try to pull this Luna as I'm falling and there's terrain in between us. The terrain will cancel my E. And that also is similar to, let's say on these bots, they go into a room as I'm about to E them. Let's see. Let's have this bot. And as he's going into the room, the wall here will cancel my E ability. But the pull doesn't completely get stopped by terrain. It doesn't cancel it like your E does. Since it doesn't have to be a straight line between you and your target, like the E ability is, if there's a little bit of leeway. Say I'm behind this box and I want to pull this bot, it does pull it closer to me. If this bot is walking into the room, let's wait for it to walk back into the room. let's say this is an enemy, and again we had the E cancel, but here pulls them out of the room. There's two combos that I think you should know that include pull. And that's besides pulling people off the map, and we'll go over those right now. The first pull combo we're going to go over is for 250 HP targets. The inputs are pretty simple, so we'll go over that first. So slowly, you sticky a target, you pull them towards you, you double jump, you slam it, you uppercut cancel it, and you sticky. And what that looks like if done at normal speed is... So a couple things about this combo is once you land your sticky and you pull the enemy towards you, you want to time your air time so you double jump, you're still in the air, and you get a slam uppercut as they get close to you. Again, both of those which you can animation cancel. You should be hearing a double hit reg noise with the slam uppercut, like this. And you can finish them off with the sticky. Again, not full health. So the other pull combo we're going to go over is for 300 HP targets. This is almost exactly the same as the previous combo, except of instantly slam, animation canceling, uppercutting, you throw a sticky in the middle, so you do a little more damage. And the inputs for this combo goes, you sticky, you pull, you double jump, you slam, you sticky, and then you uppercut. And that looks like this. And again, the next thing we're going to talk about are combos that don't use your E or your pull ability. So let me do this real quick. As I said before, a lot of new Spider-Man players feel like they're useless without their E or their pull. And this next part is about how to get over crushing that ability. And the answer on how not to crush E is pretty simple. Let's say you E this enemy. So you almost killed it. And you go, oh, my E is on an 8-second cooldown. I'm going to go hide and wait for that cooldown to come back up. If that's the case, you're useless for 8 seconds at a time. There are so many other things you can do in this time while still playing safe. And the answer lies from everything we covered from the beginning of this video until now. You can do things like you web swing in, look for an uppercut on something in the air. You could, the simplest one would be web zipping, look for an uppercut. The other one, you could try a drive-by, like we talked about earlier. And my uppercut is on cooldown. But there's a lot of things you should be doing instead of just sitting on a wall waiting for your E ability to come back up. And this is again important when your E ability is on cooldown, because you can use that time to set up for a kill. And like I said before, you don't always have to start every combo with sticky E. I said E is free chase. You can save it for the end to guarantee your kill. A good example of this is when your E is on cooldown. It's going to come up, you're trying to live, you're not trying to die, but you're also trying to kill the enemy. So what can you do in that time period when you're waiting for your E to come up? So you don't have your E, it's coming up, but you're trying to live and do damage and maybe set up for a kill while you're doing so. Your E's up and you go in and you finish. It's like simple. I just want to talk about web zipping in really quickly. I use this quite a bit, and it's for times when I can't B-hop. Let's say I don't have a sticky, or I'm waiting on cooldowns, or maybe I have to contest point and it's my only option. The most basic way you fight without your E is to land your sticky, you web zip next to them, and you uppercut. If you're not B-hopping into a fight without your E, you have to uppercut after you web zip. And I should have put this in the beginning section, but just in case you didn't know, when you web zip, there's a dive animation at the end where you cannot do anything. You can't punch, you can't shoot. You're just a free target. So if you are web zipping towards an enemy and you're not canceling that with an uppercut, that you are giving the enemy like so much time to just instantly kill you. So to get out of this, make sure you uppercut in after that. The other way you could use it is when we went over earlier. It's the variation of the drive-by. We could shift, uppercut, space, and do another type of drive-by. So after you sticky, shift, uppercut in, you have a couple of options. You can either jump again after your uppercut, so you get a double jump, and then hit a slam, or you could use the uppercut shift animation cancel that we talked about earlier. Those two combos would look like this. And the other combo would look like... The other combo that I like to use when I don't have my E is one that is able to one-shot 300 HP targets. And it looks like this. Sticky-Slam-Sticky-Uppercut. This is basically the same as the pull combo for 300 HP that we went over earlier. But if I go over the inputs again, it is sticky, double jump, slam, sticky, and uppercut. And this combo is pretty simple if you've learned the punch sticky animation cancel we went over earlier. And again, that's what this looks like. But we just did it on a still target. The only time I've done it on a still target is, for example, when Punisher is in his turret and you're able to find a way behind him, you could just go behind him and just delete him off his turret. I think this is a low elo thing, but it's the only time I've been able to pull this off on someone standing still in game. We're going to learn two more combos before we move on for this section. The second combo is very similar to the first one. Instead of Sticky-Slam-Sticky-Uppercut, what we're going to do is Sticky-Uppercut-Sticky-Slam. And how that looks like is Sticky-Uppercut, Sticky, and then Slam. So this one also does work. It does sometimes work, I guess I should say. The reason I like always ending a combo with a sticky uppercut is because the uppercut is usually guaranteed since it's AoE. As you saw just now, if I try to sticky uppercut, sticky, and then slam, there's a lot of hang time in the air where I'm very vulnerable to dying. The last combo we're going to go over is basically just a combination of most of the animation cancels we learned. And what that looks like is this. So if I go over the inputs again, you start with a sticky on your target, we double jump, we slam, we cancel that with an uppercut, then we cancel the uppercut with the shift, we cancel the shift with the sticky, and that should be a plink that gives us a slam to finish the combo. Again, just inputs. It's sticky, double jump, slam, uppercut, shift, sticky, slam. And you might say, oh, like we started off with a slam uppercut. Why don't you finish it with a slam uppercut? And the reason is because if you do this combo fast enough, or if you do it properly, your uppercut does not come back in time for you to animation cancel it at the end of the combo. So now you might say, we have 3 combos that all do 300 damage, but we've only been practicing on bots standing still. How do we use this in game? Not every target's going to be standing still and not shooting you, so there's 2 main ways I use to land this combo. The first way I like to use is called a B-hop double jump. And what I mean by that is as you're B-hopping towards an enemy, you want to press space again while you're mid-air to stop your momentum. When we were going over B-hopping in the beginning of the video, I told you to press space as your feet touch the ground to carry on your momentum. I also did say that if you press space too early, you'll do a flip animation mid-air where your momentum will stop. We use this to fight without our E. Let's say I'm trying to fight this Punisher over here. What I can do is I can B-hop over there, double jump, and stop right above his head. And that would look something like this. So this is the very first thing you should be practicing for this. You want to get a hang of the distance and how far you can carry yourself with your double jump. So if I want to go again to that Punisher there, I would B-hop and I would stop here and slam. If I wanted to go to the one on the right, slam. So once you get that down, the next step of this is you want to practice throwing your sticky in right before you double jump. And what that looks like is this. And again, on the target on the right. Okay, so once you get this timing down, you're free to do whatever combo you want. The one I like to use the most is this one, where we deleted a 300 HP target. So you can really use any combo out of this. I prefer to use the Sticky-Slam-Sticky-Uppercut because that's just more comfortable for me. The other one I like to use is the Sticky-Slam-Uppercut-Shift-Sticky-Slam. The other way to fight without your E is to B-hop in with the long Plink. So you get an instant low slam. And I know that sounds complicated, so let me break it down for you. Let's go over the inputs first. Inputs are pretty simple. You start with a B-hop. So again, double jump, shift, space. What you do instead is, instead of starting your long Plink with a shift, so instead of shift, space, sticky, slam, you want to do space, shift, sticky, slam. And that space would coincide with this space that we use at the end of our B-hop. So just input-wise from the very beginning, it would look like double jump, shift, space, shift, sticky, slam. Again, double jump, shift, space, shift, sticky, slam. And what that looks like, if done properly, is, and you get an instant slam. Again. I realized that the audio was off for the last clip, so if you wanted to hear the audio inputs for the long Plink out of the B-hop, you can listen here. So this movement tech, long plinking out of a B-hop into a combo, is very flashy, but at the same time, it's very useful. I'm just showing here a couple examples of how I use this as part of my playstyle. The first tip is to just practice your animation cancels, get that down into your muscle memory. And the other thing that is more specific to this movement tech itself is I want you to get in the habit of pressing your shift immediately after space. And what I mean by that is on the space where you press as you B-hop, you should be instantly pressing the shift right after. So you should fit the shift right click, which should be a slam, out of your long Plink before you touch the ground. The next thing I'm going to talk about are the tank fighting combos. I've seen so many videos of tank buster or tank killer or whatever combos that use like all your cooldowns and you punch the tank like 20 times. I'm not going to go over those because number one, you shouldn't be 1v1ing a tank in the first place. Even against a bronze tank that just holds his auto, I think you lose even if you are like the most skilled Spider-Man. I'm not entirely sure, but they have almost 2.5 times your HP and their autos do like 3 times your damage. The only time you should be fighting a tank is either number one, if they're low and you can use one of the combos we learned above to do like 300 or so damage, maybe get a couple of stickies in to kill them, or you have teammates with you. So yeah, please don't be 1v1ing a full HP tank actually throwing, and even if you're getting healed while you're fighting the tank, you're still throwing. Just pull them off the map. The next thing we're going to talk about is Spidey versus Spidey, or how to Spidey diff, or how not to get Spidey diffed. So this is bound to happen. You spent a bunch of time practicing combos, you got your movement down, you Q ranked, and then the other team has a Spider-Man. It's going to have to happen sometime during the game. You're going to have to fight the other Spidey. So there's a couple things you need to figure out here. So let's go over some scenarios. And the first one is both teams don't have Venoms. It's a fair 1v1. You have your knowledge to try to use a combo on him to kill him. However, having said that, I found the most reliable way to kill an enemy Spider-Man is to land a Sticky, E-Uppercut, and then Sticky while they're running away at 50 HP. And this is if you land your Sticky first. Even against a bad Spider-Man, if you try to shove combos in between your E and your uppercut, he can just swing out and web zip and get out. So that combo again is one of the first ones we went over, is the Sticky E uppercut, Sticky. Another thing that you should know is that when you're fighting a Spider-Man, you want to keep your crosshair on him at all times. And I'll explain why. So if an enemy Spider-Man hits you with this Sticky first and he's going to E in, you do something like this. Notice how I only took damage from the Sticky and not from the E. If you do time it too late, if you're late with your input, then you do take damage from both abilities. If the enemy Spider-Man is going to Sticky you and then E you, you have a guaranteed pull on them because they can't dodge as they're flying towards you. And the input for this combo is you pull them, so you press your pull key, you uppercut, and then you shift cancel that, you right click cancel that, you slam, and then you sticky. Again, the inputs are pull, uppercut, shift, right click, slam, sticky. Another thing that you're going to have to remember when you're fighting a Spider-Man is to land more stickies. I've said this already, but you're a squishy, but he's also a squishy. So the more stickies you land, the easier it will be to kill him. So let's go over the next scenario. One of the teams has a Venom. If you have a Venom on your team and they don't, stay Spider-Man because you can just one-shot him with Symbiote. But this also goes the other way as well. You might have put in more hours, you might be a better Spider-Man than he is, but if he has Symbiote and he just does this, you're dead. I hate swapping off Spider-Man, but I still do it anyways because the higher elo you go, the better it is to instantly swap when you don't have Venom and they do. If you're not going to switch, use the stuff we just went over on the Spider 1v1s to try to diff him. If you see him use Symbiote on someone else, there's your chance to go in. And the last scenario, both teams have Venom Spidey. So here's where the tech comes in. And I know in this clip, the other Spider-Man doesn't have Symbiote, but to show this tech, he doesn't need it.
Like the old days.
Usually what happens is both Spider-Men will be looking to hit each other with their Sticky to one-shot the other one with Symbiote first. So worst comes to worst, you lose the aim battle and you hit the Sticky on you first. You don't have your pull ability to pull him out of his E. What you can do instead is what I call a Symbiote. If you time your C correctly, just as the other Spider-Man's about to make contact with his E on you, you press C. If you do this correctly, you'll still take the damage, but two things will occur. Number one, he'll take damage from the Symbiote. And number two, he will bounce back because of the Symbiote. You do still take damage, but you don't get one-shotted, so this does still give you a chance to fight back, or run for a health pack, or reposition, or wait for cooldowns, or whatever. If you made it to the end of the video, I'd like to say congratulations. I know the video is really long, but I did try to put in everything that I know about Spider-Man, how to do things, and the reasons behind them as well. If I didn't explain something properly, there are a bunch of videos you can look up, or you could leave me a comment or DM me on Discord. And again, thanks for watching.